Welcome to this video where I will be talking about my full travel manifestation process. This process, right, is a document from my program, The Co-Creator's Path, which is in my school community. So if you want like the full step-by-step guide, the full step-by-step story with like action steps and all the little specifics I did, you can find it in the program. First link in the description below. But in this video, I'm just going to be breaking it down a little more broader, more significant, important things that happened during the process of me living in my old country, everything that I did, all the important things, which led me to finally going to my desired country. How that process exactly unfolded. Let's get right into it, okay? So a little backstory, okay? To show you how this entire thing was set up. I actually was very, 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 very attached to going to this specific country a couple years ago, okay? And all of those years, while I was just needy, I desperately wanted to travel and move because if I travel, then I will have a fresh start, a new beginning, and then I can finally change myself and be a new person because I didn't like who I was at that old country I was living in. And the people around me, the environment around me as well, I did not like it. I didn't feel like it matched me. It didn't feel like something that I was comfortable with. And the reason why was because I grew up in my desired country when I was younger. And circumstances happened, which led me to moving to a new country. And that place was like a culture shock. It was very different. So, younger me thought, I hate it here. It's too different. I want to go back to my old desired country. And she would honestly, what she would basically do at that time before she knew about manifestation was just pray to God and beg, please, please let this happen. Please let this happen. I really, really, really want this, God. Just let it happen. If you make this happen, I will be good. I'll be a good girl. I'll do everything right. I won't do anything bad. I won't hurt anyone, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Because at that time, my idea of God was kind of false. A lot of false programming was put into me, which led me to see that as the truth about God. And God was someone that we begged miracles for, not someone who we have a loving connection with. And that was basically past me trying to get her goal and work hard for it and beg for it, okay? And the problem with this is that the mentality I had, this desire will only make me happy. If I get this desire, then I'm high status, then I'm good enough, I can be happy, I can truly live my life. But if I don't get my desire, I'm worthless. I'm a failure. I'm worse than a slug crawling across the road. Obviously, I was very, very obsessed. I was very, very possessive over my desire. Like those stalkers, those creepy stalkers in those TV shows. And the thing is, manifesting your desire is like you attracting and wooing, so to say, another person. Would someone be interested in you if you were a literal stalker and obsessed over them and you were like, come to me, please come to me? Duh, obviously not, right? They'll call the police on you and they wouldn't even want to touch you with a 6-foot pole. And the only way to actually start the process of attracting your desire is to, first of all, what I finally did was to not rely on my desire to be all or nothing, to save me or hurt me. And this leads me to the next phase of my manifestation process, which was the beginning that started everything. Me discovering manifestation. So at that time, I was in a severe, severe survival mode. My nervous system was extremely dysregulated. I was constantly anxious and stressed throughout the day because of my toxic environment, because of toxic people around me that I didn't like, all of these things, right? And what happened was that eventually years and years and years passed. I think 4 to 5 years, okay? And I was trying to move to my desired country. I was trying to take action, like fill out travel applications, visa applications, doing all the things that I knew I had to do, but nothing worked out. Like everything would just keep on getting rejected. Years and years and years went by. Until one day, right, I was just sick of it and I just gave up on the idea that I could ever go to my desired country. I gave up and I just lost all hope, okay? After I did that, after I just lost all hope, I found manifestation. I discovered like manifestation content online and books and all, and then I started to put it into practice. It started with me manifesting little smaller things, and then it slowly went to me like manifesting food, manifesting clothes, manifesting what I remember manifesting instant noodles at some point. I don't do that anymore, but what else did I manifest? I manifested like a lot of little material goods, like like items and stuff. I don't remember the specifics, okay? But now I was at a point where I was like, okay, manifestation works. I'm actually manifesting things. I actually have hope for the future now. Wow, this is so incredible. And in a way, like realizing that I was the creator of my reality and I could just give myself the life I wanted shifted me completely and healed my nervous system. So I did all that. I also did like shadow work and inner work, did all those things, stumbled across those things, put them into practice. And it took like years and years and years and years, okay? Like learning all this, figuring everything out, seeing what works and what doesn't. And I had like a good system set up that was authentic to me and making me happy. And I made my first ever vision board and hung it up, which was so special. Now I finally felt hopeful for the future. And the lingering desire to go to my desired country, right? It was still there, yes. But now there was a part of me that realized, wait, I can actually be happy in the now. And it's kind of cliche, I know, but it's a wonderful feeling, okay? Because I was so desperate for something in the past to make me happy. And now I realize that I could make myself happy right now in the moment. And at this point, right, my dominant frequency completely shifted. Now I was at like a baseline where I felt mostly positive, good emotions because of all the inner work I did. This is like referring to pillars 2 and 3, by the way, in my manifestation program. Number 2, which is universal laws, and number 3, which is emotional mastery and shadow work. I did all those things. And I was in my bedroom and I was just thinking about life and staring at my vision board and looking at all the little photos that I put up of my future self who was healthy, who was doing something she loved, who was traveling the world, who was surrounded by friends. And as I was looking at those pictures, the inklings of desire started to creep up in me again. The desire that went like, wouldn't it be nice to manifest traveling to my desired country? Because at this point, I did all these little small manifestations. And this one was like one of my biggest, okay? So I was like, okay, let's apply the same principles to this big one. And obviously, when you compare the scale of the smaller, so to say, smaller manifestations and the bigger ones, manifesting instant noodles and manifesting traveling to a whole nother country, living there, it might seem a little scary to the brain, right? But for me, I was at a point where I realized this is an authentic desire of mine. This is a desire that is truly authentic to me because I don't need that desire to save me. I don't need that desire to give me validation or give me a sense of status. I just want this desire because there's a voice in my heart and my soul that says, this would be wonderful if we manifested it. This would be a wonderful life that we could live that would feel like we're on cloud 9 all the time. And this is pillar 1, by the way, clarity and life vision, where you identify desires that are truly authentic to your soul. not desires coming from your egoistical mind. No. Those desires, right? Actually, like traveling to my desired country at the beginning, where I was still in survival mode, was a desire born from my ego. Because that desire was something that I had like stalker vibes towards. I was possessive, I was obsessive. And being a stalker is equal to having your ego give you that desire, okay? But instead, this time, the feeling that I wanted to manifest desire and receive it, it came from an archetype of like the lover, okay? Not the stalker archetype, but like the lover, like, it would be wonderful to have this. It would be like wonderful to have this person by my side. We're both independent. We're both like satisfied and fulfilled on our own. But if we do have each other and connect, it would be wonderful and nice. Of course, I'm not dependent on you because I'm my own person. But if we did get together, that would be cool. That is like the lover archetype, okay? And just like comparing the parallels, you can understand which one has the higher chance of manifesting your desire. One doesn't at all, and one does. So the lens I viewed my desire now was one where I was authentic and I genuinely wanted it from my heart. And obviously, like, if you want to learn more about this, you can go more in depth by purchasing the Mindset and Habits Masterclass and enrolling in that, also known as the Co-Creator's Path. First link in the description, but let's continue. So I decided I was going to manifest traveling, and I did the next phase, which was doing my manifestation practice. All right, so if you want more specific details on what exactly I did, that document is in the program. But for now, I'm just going to breeze through it so we can get on to the next significant moments that happened. First of all, for my manifestation practice, right? I swear to God, this is like one of the most crucial things I ever did that I believe like was what led me to manifest my desire. And this was my manifestation practice where every single day, right? Every single day, I made sure to commit to feeling the wish fulfilled state. Every single day. Every single day. And I let myself feel good. I let myself just have fun feeling and being in that state, okay? I wasn't like, honestly, I wasn't too attached and wasn't like, will it happen or not? I wasn't constantly checking for results. I just sat down, did the wish fulfilled state, felt good, and then would move on. And then would just live my life and enjoy it, okay? And this wish fulfilled state, I remember, I had a visualization clip, which I specifically did for it. And this visualization clip, right, was one where I was sitting in the airplane. I was sitting there, and I opened my eyes. It was completely nighttime. It was purple. And I'll show you like a photo right here, okay? Okay. Yeah. So that's the photo. I put that as my lock screen on my vision board as well. It's basically like an aisle seat of an airplane where people are like, you know, just resting and watching movies while they're on their flight. And this clip, I swear, was so important to me in this process because this was the clip that made me feel like this was real. That I was actually on the plane. Because the thing is, I didn't know what my desired country will look like. I didn't know. I was sitting in a completely different country. I didn't know where I will live there. I don't know if I'll live in a house there, in an apartment, under a bridge. I didn't know any of that, okay? I didn't even know what the terrain would look like. I didn't even know if it was going to be warm or cold, what the temperature would be. Anyways, so, like, for my mind, I thought, okay, what would be the easiest for me to visualize and make me feel good? And then I settled on this picture of being in an airplane and feeling like I was flying to my desired country and everything was okay, everything was done and solved. So I did that. I imagined that clip as many times as it felt good to me. And I just like enjoyed it. I enjoyed like the visualization process. I didn't even see it as a chore, honestly. I looked forward to it because it felt good. And I made sure to, by the way, feel gratitude for my desire. And I think this really, really helped as well. Because I would just be like going on walks outside, okay? And I would be thinking about my desired country and visualizing already being there to the best of the ability I could. And I would feel like swells of gratitude come up in me while I did that, which felt really nice. I would say, thank you, God, for letting me go here. Thank you, God, for giving this to me. Thank you, God, for everything. Thank you, God, for my old country. I made sure to also give gratitude for the current country I was living in now. And that is also very important, okay? Because when you're manifesting, it's important to be grateful for the circumstances you have now. Otherwise, if you hate your current circumstances, like if I hated my current country and kept cussing it out, but still tried to manifest traveling, I believe it wouldn't have worked out, or it might have worked out, but I would face a negative repercussion there. And the reason why is because when you feel hatred towards something, disgust towards something, that energy will be amplified. It will be amplified. So what I did was I first started off just feeling neutral towards my old country. I started off feeling neutral towards it instead of hating it, instead of hating the people around me, instead of hating the things around me. I started just feeling indifferent and neutral. Then I started feeling gratitude for those things. And now, let's continue. Now I'm going to bring you to the catalyst, okay? Which is crazy. This is one of the craziest things that happened during this manifestation process. So stay tuned because this is so important, okay? For you to understand how miraculous our universe is. So anyways, a few weeks later, in my manifestation with fulfilled practice, I received a surprising experience, a surprising test, if you would call it, from the universe. And I talk about manifestation tests in my program as well, pillar number 6, passing tests. And I'm just going to brush through the situation that happened so it's not too confusing. Basically, I was in a moment, I was in a test where I had 2 choices. I could either continue to live authentically, continue to work towards my dream life, continue to just be happy, live freely, but I would end up giving up the chance to move to my desired country, potentially forever. Or I could go into a specific career path. I had an opportunity to go into a specific career field that would be inauthentic to me, would suck my soul out, but would give me a very, very, very high chance of moving to my desired country. So I had 2 choices, right? I did my manifestation wishful pill practice. I was being consistent with that. And now suddenly I had this thrown in my face. Either continue to live authentically and go into a career path I truly, truly loved, but would potentially not ever let me go to my desired country. Or, and by go, I mean not just travel temporarily, but actually live there. Actually buy houses there and actually settle there and have a good life, okay? I had that choice, or I could just, go into a career field that would most probably send me there, but, was soul-sucking. And obviously, I was a different person at this time, and past me, she would have gone for the choice of the inauthentic career in a heartbeat, because that's how desperate she was to move there. But I changed. I was different. I felt whole, I was fulfilled and happy on my own. And suddenly I had this weird choice in front of me, even though I was manifesting. And there was a part of me that felt uncomfortable, was I don't know what to do. I'm not sure what path to go down. And what I did was I prayed to God about it. I prayed. And then I got a sign from God. And universal signs and synchronicities, they come in really special ways, okay? I got a sign in the form of a YouTube video which had the exact answer of the problem I was facing. So I was listening to my gut feeling, right? I was listening to my gut feeling. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I wanted to live an authentic life, but again, I was thinking, is the universe, is God sending me this opportunity of going into this high-paying career field so I can move, or what? And I finally decided to give up on my manifestation. I did something my past self would have never been able to do, which was let go of my desire and sacrifice it and give it up out of love, not give it up out of hopelessness or the belief that I will never be able to manifest it. I didn't give it up out of misery and hopelessness and pain, but I gave it up out of love because I knew that my authenticity, my soul, living a life that was aligned with me and where I truly loved myself and I did things I loved and I was someone I loved was much more important. So I trusted my intuition. I listened to what felt good in my body, and then I chose to give it up. And I know it was the right choice because my body was bursting with joy when I made that. I was genuinely so happy, and there was a sense of, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I feel good in a way. Like I felt good in my body. And so I did that, right? I did that. I gave up on my desire, but I still did my wish fulfilled practice. And I'm going to just tell you now, 3 days after I did that, after I made that choice of choosing my own authenticity, of not settling. This is a test of self-worth and settling, by the way. My application to travel there got approved. The application that I put in years ago that was always getting rejected, it finally got approved 3 days later. And I knew like instantly, holy crap, miracles are real. And when you're manifesting, right, this is what you will experience as well. Your heart, right? Your heart always knows what decision to make, even if it seems unlikely to bring you your manifestation. When you make decisions based off your heart, your intuition, based off of you staying true to your own authenticity and your values, those decisions will always, somehow they will work in your favor. It will always lead to a blessing in disguise, even if it doesn't look like it at that moment. Because our heart, all it really does guide us is to a life where we are truly happy, we are truly fulfilled, and living with so much joy and authenticity. That's what listening to your heart does. And it's not even complicated at all, okay? Because you can obviously ask for signs from the universe and you will receive a sign. Like I got it in a YouTube video, but you might get it from like another person randomly telling you something. Like not like other people trying to force you to make a decision, but like someone just spontaneously telling you something randomly out of the blue, like, oh, why don't you do this? And they're not forcing you or anything. It's just really random. It might come in the form of a gut feeling as well. Like if your body feels expanded when you think about making that choice, it's a huge sign your heart thinks it's on the right track. But if your body feels constricted and negative, like you're shoving yourself down in a little cage and you have to convince yourself like we should do this, that's a sign it's not the right decision. And that's how I felt when I was thinking about going into a career field just for the sake of my desired country. I was like, seriously, I need to suck my soul out of my body in this boring career path of engineering just so, like for me that was boring, okay? That wasn't what aligned with my heart. If you do that, of course, that if it's meant for you, then it's gonna feel wonderful. But I was like, I can't believe I'm so desperate to go to like a new patch of land somewhere else on this earth that is like man-made to have this name and blah, blah, blah. And I'm relying on that for my happiness. I found it really comical, so yeah, I gave up on it. And so this is basically how I applied Pillar 6, passing manifestation tests, as well as Pillar 7, which was detachment and intuition, to help me pass that test. Now, I want to talk about the turning point, okay? The turning point, which was 3 days after I gave up out of love, I got my desire, which was the application process getting approved. And this was like the first step in the process of getting onto the flight, okay? This was like step number 1 out of step number 7 or whatever. And I was ecstatic because for years and years and years, it didn't even get approved, right? But finally it did. So I was really happy about that. I was really joyful and I was really grateful. So another thing I did, right, was that when I got this sign that things were working out, that my manifestation was finally like in the physical world picking up, I did not make it an overly big deal, like, oh my God, things like this never happened to me, because I needed to teach my nervous system that this was normal. I did feel happy for a bit, but I didn't fall back to old beliefs like, this is crazy, this isn't real, things like this never happen. And now moving on to the next phase, which is action, action, action. This is pillar number 5, which is 3D reality alignment, where it's all about like inspired action and doing like concrete action steps, like taking little steps in order to help you bridge the gap between your mind and your 3D physical world and actually receive your manifestation in the 3D world. Because obviously, I can't just lie in my bed and visualize my desired country in my brain and expect to be teleported there instantly. It doesn't work that way because as humans, before we were born on Earth, we agreed to experience our physical life with inert matter. And that actually is something which physical action is required to help you get your manifestation. But action isn't everything, of course. And because we're living in this physical world where inert matter, which is basically matter which is concrete and not like dreams where we can shift everything around as we want in dreams, we have our real world in front of us. We have the law of gravity. We have the law of depth and perception. We have this physical space in front of us. And it doesn't mean that we can't change anything. We can't shift anything. But there are certain laws which we agreed to when we came on this earth. And action is an important part of aligning and following these laws to get what you want. And so what I did, right? Instead of expecting to just randomly wake up in my desired country because I got teleported there, I had a lot of paperwork to fill, which I did. And this paperwork, right, was paperwork I needed to do. I had to fill out documents and stuff in order to get them signed off and then finally keep the process continuing till I finally got that plane ticket in my hands. And honestly, this was inspired action because it was one of my dream building activities, which I talk about in my program. But a dream building activity is basically an activity that can be small, but it's the first step that you can take in order to get to your desire, okay? And it doesn't have to be a perfect idea of what you have to do. I just knew, okay, what's the next logical step? What's the next step that I feel is calling to me to do so I can get this process moving? And I was filling out documents for hours and hours and hours. And it took a while, and it was kind of boring, okay? But I knew that's what I had to do. And I completed that. I sent them in to get signed off and approved. And then that's it, yeah. So I was doing all that. And of course, there were a lot of tests that kept coming up, a lot of doubts. And one of them was receiving the news that getting the documents that I sent out, receiving those back would take 3 years or 2 years for everything to get approved. And so I was there thinking, oh dang, I have all of these documents that I sent out, but it might take me 3 years to get everything approved and to actually be able to travel there. And so I started to panic, okay? Oh shoot, what am I going to do for those 3 years? It was really, really confusing at that time and doubtful. And basically, what I did was, again, keep going back to my wish fulfilled practice and trust that things will work out. And then that documentation, it did get approved. It got approved a lot faster than I thought it would. And that was because I kept staying in my wish fulfilled state. I didn't succumb to doubt. I kept showing gratitude, as well as I kept taking action, little action steps in the right direction. And this wasn't action that was forced. This was action from me knowing that this was what I had to do. And in a way, it was aligned, inspired action. And so those documents got approved a lot faster than they were typically supposed to, thankfully. And an important thing that I want to share with you is that during this process of manifesting my desire, doubts did creep in. Uncertainties did creep in. And it's okay, honestly, to feel that way sometimes. Because I felt that. I felt that throughout manifesting. And here's the thing. It's okay to feel doubt and fear occasionally, but it only becomes a problem when you make it a habit. I think something really important that kept me from getting too obsessed and doubtful and scared was to reduce my emotional investment in traveling to my desired country. So at this point, I was getting signs that things were working out and I had the potential to go there, right? I was getting all those signs. So I was feeling really happy, really excited, like, oh my God, this might actually work out. Things are actually moving on. And I realized the more and more and more I got too excited about my desire, too like, wow, this would be an incredible miracle if it happened. I really want it. That would be so nice. The more I was emotionally invested, the more like happy I felt towards it, the more whatever. The more my fears and doubts also increased. And I had to, again, implement Pillar 7, detachment and intuition, to help me actually detach from my manifestation. Because I'm just going to give it to you straight. The more possessive you are, the more obsessive you are, the more your desire will run from you and will not want to be near you. But when you are neutral about your desire, when you're neutral, like you can happen or you don't have to happen. That's okay. That's the best way to calm down your anxiety, your fears, and your doubts. And that's what I did. I kept reminding myself, you know what? If this doesn't work out, it's all right. It's fine. We'll be okay. We'll still live a good life. We'll still be like happy here. I can still like work on my dreams. I can still take care of my body. I also love myself. You have friends, family around me. And that is very, very, very important. The more you are attached to something, the more you put importance on something, the more your doubts and fears grow. And the more your doubts and fears grow, the slower the manifestation process is. Because when you park your butt on just feeling full faith, feeling good about your manifestation and not being too needy, but being in a place where it's like neutral, and whenever you do your manifestation practice, you feel good. When you do that, you're like speeding it up really quickly. But, the more you feel doubt and anxious, the more you're like seesawing, the slower it gets, the slower the process gets, because those doubts and fears, right? They are going to make you take forceful action or make you do things out of desperation and just radiate that energy out. Of course, it's normal to feel it occasionally. That's completely, completely fine. But the main thing that really helped me get out of fear and doubt cycles and not like sink into it was realizing that I can be happy whether I have it or not, and it's fine to not get it. All right, so now I want to get into the next phase, which is enjoying the process. There's another phase, which was a big leap of faith I did, but obviously I'm sorry, but I can't give away everything. I can't tell you every single thing I did because that's reserved for my community members, but let's get into enjoying the process, okay? So at this point, I made sure to be grateful for the country I was living in and just chilling in it, relaxing, enjoying it, and making sure every single day I wasn't like obsessed with my desire, but instead I had hobbies. I had like other goals I was working towards. I had friends, and I had an actual life outside of just manifesting my desire. I was living authentically. I was doing things I liked. I was following the 3 pillars of authenticity. And I just let myself feel joy in the moment, being present. And a big part that led me to being present and led me to feel joyful in the moment was growing my connection to God, which is pillar number 3, the God-aligned co-creator, the God-led co-creator. So I was just improving my bond with God, having fun, living my life, and enjoying the moment. And now I'm going to get into everything unfolds at the right time, which was when exactly did my desire finally happen? Here's what I'm going to go over. My desire, right? To be completely honest, it manifested after a year of getting that travel application approved. But I was told that it would take 2 to 3 years, so a year in comparison to that is actually pretty good. And during this entire year, right, I was just persisting. I was continuously being in my wish-fulfilled state. And throughout that time, of course, I got like little physical signs of confirmation that things were working out. Getting the first application approved, getting documents approved, getting other approvals in that 7-step process. It's a little confusing. I don't want to confuse you with travel jargon. So just to put it to you straight, it did take a year, which you might think is a long time. But the thing is, I truly believe that it unfolded at the perfect time, at the perfect moment, exactly how it was meant to. And the thing is, right, I enjoyed my life during that time. And I was impatient at times. I'm going to be honest, I was impatient. Some days I felt like I was pulling out my hair, like, why is it not happening enough, fast enough? Why, universe, are you taking so long? Where is it? I just want to live there. I just want to go there. I want the thing already. And obviously, because of inert matter, because of the physical 3D world around us that we have, things do take time. And at some moments, I felt like, am I doing something wrong? Is it not manifesting fast enough because of me? Did I mess something up? Is it all going to come crashing down? I had those doubts as well. But I truly believe that God tinkers away. God will fix up things in the outside world. God will shift things in the outside world to give you opportunities to act on, which will then lead to you manifesting your desire. And all of that takes time. And I think that is a completely normal process of manifesting a desire. Because obviously, I can't expect to go to bed and wake up teleported to my desired country. It doesn't work that way because our 3D physical world is also here. Sure, if we only had our mental plane, then maybe I could just teleport myself instantly. Like, you know how in our dreams are just constantly so random and random things keep happening. Like if you think of something, it happens. And at one point you're dreaming about like a banana and a hot dog dancing with you, and then immediately, like 5 seconds later, you're in a zombie apocalypse movie and running for your life. Dreams, they shift fast, okay? Manifestation in a dream is like, boom. But manifestation in the real world will take 3D physical time, even if you're doing everything right. And the best way to actually, of course, enjoy this time, I'm not telling you that it's always going to take a long time, okay? But everything will unfold at the right time, but don't blame yourself if things are taking a while, okay? And I would just tell you to enjoy your time by giving gratitude for your current circumstances and letting yourself, right, just live your current life and take action on the things you can. Because that's what I did. I took action on the things that I knew I could do. I didn't know everything that was going to happen, but I just put one foot in front of the other and followed the foggy path in front of me. I took action through signing up, through sending in documents, through buying travel items when the opportunity felt right, as well as, what else did I do? I'm sorry, give me a moment. I'm trying to think of all the action things I did. I bought like a cute little travel neck pillow as well, which I absolutely adored. And I bought it when my flight ticket wasn't guaranteed at that time, but I bought it because my intuition told me to do it because it was a form of inspired action. So I did that, obviously documentation, blah, 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 all that stuff. I started to pack and stuff. So I did things that I knew was the next step that I had to do. I did whatever I could. I took action on the physical things that I could take action on. And the rest, I left all of that up to God. I didn't know when things will get approved. I didn't know when will get my ticket, but that was God's job, not mine. And another thing I did was, after taking action, was just living my life in the moment and being grateful right now. Just enjoying time with family. I remember I went on a lot of hiking adventures throughout my neighborhood, as well as road trips with my family at that time. And I was present. I was taking care of a couple of stray cats in my neighborhood. I was enjoying the company with them. I was in a place where my importance related to my desire was very low. So I was able to be present and enjoy the moment without stressing about it too much. And after all of that happened, right, after I did all that, after I passed tests, I got the flight ticket. And then I moved to my desired country. And I just want to tell you a really funny sign that happened, a really, really funny synchronicity. Do you remember the picture I showed you earlier in the video? This flight picture that I put in my vision board? And I would visualize constantly during my manifestation practice. In the middle of the flight, right, I woke up. And it was nighttime. And the entire flight was bathed in purple light. And long story short, it looked almost exactly like this picture on my phone right now. Almost exactly. It was just a deeper hue of purple. And oh my God, I remember at that time I was just internally laughing to myself, like, holy crap. Manifestation is real. manifestation is incredible. I am so grateful to be able to live in a world where I can manifest and live a good life exactly how I want it to be like. So, wow, this is turning out to be a long video. We have reached the end of my manifestation process. We have reached the end. And currently, like, the background you see in front of me, well, behind me, actually, is me living in my apartment in my desired country. And obviously, like, due to privacy reasons, I cannot say where I live, and I'm not comfortable with that because obviously this is the internet. But I just want this video to give you hope and give you clarity on how the journey of having that desire in your heart and the path of materializing it in the outside physical world looks like. Obviously, this won't exactly match your journey if you were to manifest traveling, but this is mine. And I believe that for every single person trying to manifest a desire, they will have the 7 pillars of manifestation in their journey. They will have all of them at some point. They'll have tests, pillar number 6. They'll have to detach. They'll have to trust in God. They'll have to do shadow work. They'll have to get clear on their desire, make sure it's authentic to them. Pillar 1, pillars all the way to pillar 7. They'll have to take action. Pillar number 5. And this, like, the 7 pillars of manifestation is basically like 7 things to align to fully, non-negotiably receive your manifestation. Because you are aligning everything. You're aligning your action, which most people forget to do. They mostly only visualize and expect to be teleported to their desire. You're aligning your mind. You're doing, like, subconscious work. You're getting rid of limiting beliefs. And you're aligning your spiritual soul. You're listening to your heart, your intuition, living authentically, and following your heart when it comes to making decisions and trusting in it and living by it and following it. So, with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Of course, if you want the full document, you can join the community, but I'm so glad you're here. I hope this was helpful. Bye. I will see you in the next video.